Well, you just said you're having a blah day. I think that happens to a lot of people on Mondays. I do.
Yeah. And the weather.
What's it
We
what's it
just
like in your neck of the woods? Tell
Well, we
me.
had some, I'm sure it's all over the news. There were some tornadoes that really tore up part of our city. Thankfully, blessedly, none of the people that I know. We mostly live south of the city, and it was north of the city. But like my son's bar is actually doing, uh, what's this say?
I don't know. I'm not getting
Add hand
anything.
gestures or something. Sorry, guys, out in the video land. At any rate, my son's bar is doing a huge fundraiser and actually going out there and helping people rebuild. There's like 1,000 people displaced.
Oh my
So I have a lot of
goodness.
nerve feeling blah. But we were supposed to get
Your
more
son's bar is more toward the city?
than the city. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. We're just bumping everything over, guys. So once you jump on, if you
Hi
could just
guys, hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, wherever you're bumping in from. We're bumping to you.
we're bumping to you because unfortunately we can't come right on to you the way we used to. But there's a workaround and we're doing it. So I'm gonna
And I
just
love
tag
how I say
everyone.
we when it's all her. It's all my partner.
It is 100% my pleasure. I truly do enjoy Monday evenings. I enjoy talking to these people. We had a lot of chit chat in the chat today, which was nice. And we also welcomed several people. I have all of the new people welcomed into the Grace and Grit Studio group. We are at 884 members. I'm very proud
Oh
of
my
that.
gosh. It's just like that. I'm not feeling so blah anymore. There you go.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah. So, and Kay Demmer's here, and that's all that matters. Hey, Kay, how are you? I just saw her message. Welcome, everyone. We've got a ton of people hopping in. I think they're trying to get in, numbers going up. So, as that's happening, so are you having with the bad rains and the tornadoes? Did it hit your area as well, or the city, or?
Yeah, like it hit the city north of the city, and then it hit a town called Clayton.
Okay.
So yeah, there were several, I guess. But anyway, the weather is the same today. Like we're supposed to be watching for more. So, but this is not just seeing. I mean, we might be the ones that got the tornadoes, but there's just such weird weather patterns all across the United States of
Absolutely.
America, and so much swinging back and forth. Sorry, I'm yawning. So much swinging back and forth, and then it's like it's hard to keep track of. So
I
one
think the
day you're
weather does
wearing
that.
pants, the next day no
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. I went out this morning to go to the gym in shorts and a tank top because it was quite warm here this weekend, like to the point that I got a tan like on my arms. So we put our boat in, and honestly, I had to come back in and get a sweatshirt and put on longer pants. I do want to do a shout out, and I'm probably going to say this name wrong, but to Renee Brightbach. Is it Brightback? She told us in the jewelry chat today that she invited 20 people and she was going to individually follow up with all 20. So, and I know I saw her name go by. So I just want to shout out to Renee because that's fantastic. And that's what we ask you guys to do, you guys and gals. When you're watching this, we're happy you're here, but we'd love for you to invite someone next week and follow up with them and say, hey, do you like free jewelry? There's this little chat we do on a Monday night for 20 minutes, and you listen, and your price of admission is you have to listen to us chit chat. And then once we're done chit chatting, you fill out a Google form and boom shakalaka, you're entered to win free jewelry. So we're here every Monday night. I'm not sure about next Monday though. I was going to talk to you about that before we came live because next Monday is Memorial Day. So I don't know. I'm not going to be available, but yeah, we might skip that one. I'm not sure. But we give away free jewelry. I'm saying she gives away free jewelry every single week. I give away free jewelry in my group, but not here. Every single week, and she curates it. She curates a package to what you put on your Google form. So Monday nights are fun for me. We've been in this space for a long time, and chit-chatting with new people about what we do and talking about, I always said if I could stand on the rooftops and shout out what I do to people, that they would understand how much fun it is and they join us. So we're here to talk to you about what we do here at Park Lane. This is our free jewelry live stream. I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing our executive company vice president every single Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. And all you got to do is listen. listen, share, click the share button if you're watching us on the business page, and invite a friend next week. And this might be something that is perfect for you when you hear this, or it could be something perfect for some woman or man in your circle. And we ask that you bring them here so that we can bless them with what we have, our knowledge. So, Mary Grace, we're going to start because we have 25 people watching. I think that's pretty good. We got them on, we got them in. Let's get rolling. So here we go. Our first question, and I'm going to ask 4 questions. The 4 questions are the same every week, but the answers are different. They differ. They broaden. They're good. Mary Grace is good. Okay, I learn every single week. But I'm going to ask 4 questions, and they're questions that people ask when they're not sure what we do for a living, or they're not sure if it's something that might be a good fit for them. So I always like to start because we do talk about us being in direct sales all the time. That's a buzzword that we use. So I'm going to ask you to explain why direct sales, what direct sales is, and how does it differ from the buzzword of MLM?
Yeah. Um, when I first started in direct sales, I didn't know it had a name like that. I just thought, oh, that looks fun. I'm going to try it. And I fear that if I'd heard the term, I may have misunderstood it. So it's very important to me to explain it to because people that aren't in our industry, they think like every single home-based business, like where you sign up and get your kit or whatever, are all the same, and they're really not. I think of a cousin that was involved in something, and every time he came near us at the family reunion, we'd all like scatter, because we knew that he was going to want us to join him. And MLM, multi-level marketing, of course, I have a great admiration for any of the home-based businesses that people take seriously and make work. But MLM really is more intent on the recruiting aspect. It like ideally wants to turn every single customer into somebody who actually kind of works for the company. And then they keep an eye. That's why they call it multi-level marketing, MLM. They keep an eye on who's working and who's, bringing in sales. And like, that's how the person that brought them in the first place, that's their majority of pay. So that's like kind of where you hear of people's credit card getting hit once a month for a certain product, that kind of thing. And the person's following up with them, making sure that they are continuing to be part of that. Direct sales is what we do, and it's direct to consumer. It just means like kind of cutting out the middleman. So, like, instead of going to a store to buy our product, people can buy it based in the comfort of their own home, through the internet, through their home, whatever. And we serve as like personal stylists for them, direct to consumer. Direct sales to me has been a life changer. I know it has to you too. I just am so grateful that I started this business 20 something years ago because of the flexibility. I can work when I want to work when I can work. I can decide how much I want to make. I can decide what's feasible, what's not feasible. It's really the benefit of running your own business with all of the advantages, but none of the risk and the overhead, which is what was so attractive to us. And I do always say to people, because I know you're out there, so many people, like when Janine was saying, bring someone with you next week. See, people don't know what they don't know. I fell into direct sales by accident because I went to a show, heard someone talking about it. Okay. I didn't go looking for it originally. And I just feel like we're the best kept secret. Like it can be so life changing. And when people say to me, I already have a job, Janine laughs at me every single time because I always say, well, good. Because honest to goodness, I never would have had the courage to quit. I was a teacher at the time. I wouldn't have just quit and say, I'm going to try this. I needed to be able to put my toe in the water. I needed to be able to check it out. I just wanted it to be extra. And at that time, what I wanted was very little. I wanted like $100, to help buy groceries or something. It wouldn't help buy much today, but it helped then. So it really is just something that you should listen to and consider, because regardless of what your schedule is, it is something that you could fit into your schedule some way, somehow. And it's going to bring you extra income and a whole bunch of extra pleasure that people don't even realize is out there, like a sense of purpose, being a part of a bunch of people that lift you up. So in a nutshell, that's what direct sales is, direct to consumer.
I love that.
That was a different answer.
It was a different answer, and that's why I'm going to give a different question here. Many people are involved in different direct sales companies now that you've explained it. If anybody here has been part of another company, we'd love for you to put it in the chat. You don't have to name the company. You can say a candle company, a basket company, whatever you like.
That's what I was.
But
yes.
Yeah, but we'd like you to put in the chat because I know Mary Grace is going to talk about something that may be very big of interest to you. So, my question next is, now that we know that it's direct to consumer and you're a liaison to the consumer or a personal shopper, if you will, how does jewelry fit into all of that?
Fascinating is if you were to Google, I'm considering direct sales. I need advice or something like that. Almost every article that you would read would suggest that you pick a product that you love because you're going to represent it and ultimately it's yours. I agree with that, but I think something that's even more brilliant is to pick a product that the most other people love. And that's what Park Lane ended up doing, not by design, but by doing their homework. So when they started the company in 1955, they knew they wanted to use the direct sales model. One of their biggest uh, goals was to be able to help normal everyday people like us be able to do what we needed to do with our life as far as the people we needed to take care of and everything, but be able to also make like a really neat, wonderful, unbelievable income. They wanted to help a business that would not only be left to their children's children, which it already has, but enable people like Janine and I to leave it to our children's children. And that's what we can do here at Park Lane. But I digress. We both started at different companies. Our direct sales histories were in candles and baskets, which is why we used those as examples earlier. We both fell into it because we went to a show. Somebody mentioned the job opportunity and we thought, oh, that sounds fun. And off we went, very loyal to the companies. Park Lane's the only direct sales company that recognizes experience like any other company in the world would, and they bring you in at levels that are commensurate with what you've achieved. So that was huge. This whole big thing that I'm doing really is coming to why you choose jewelry, because we did not choose jewelry the first time because we fell into it. But had we been doing research like Park Lane did, and when they started, we would have chosen jewelry. And I'll tell you why they chose jewelry, and this is why you should choose jewelry. Okay. So they hire these consultants, and they hired three different ones. It was an expense, but they said it'll be worth it. So these three separate companies come in, and at different times, the Levine family says, listen, we don't know what product to represent. We want to make a really smart decision. Go out in the world and do your research. And when you come back, tell us your top three product choices, and please be ready to defend your answers. Now, they were not expecting this, but all three companies came back with jewelry as number one. And then they're like, oh, okay, we're going to pivot here. Tell us your answers. And I could go on and on about this. I've experienced it now. Janine's experienced it. It has been such an easier product to represent than candles or baskets. And mostly it's because of the market. It withstands the test of time. Jewelry's been around. Did you tell me 150,000 years ago was the first
150,000
documented
years.
jewelry?
Yes.
And then going forward, they're showing like a $43 billion forecast in fine fashion jewelry. Like, whoa, we're going to be part of that. When you think of the type of person that you sell jewelry to, it's everybody. It really is. There's no like little niche market, which there definitely was for candles and there definitely was for baskets. That was a collectible, right? So it doesn't have a niche market. It's really everybody. It's considered one of the top three gift. It is the top three gift choices in the world, documented. Candies, flour, and jewelry. It has an emotional connection. People talk about their jewelry. People are out wearing their jewelry, so it gets compliments, and all of those referrals come back to us. We get to wear our jewelry, which brings us easy business because people see what we're doing. These are all like things I hadn't ever really thought of, but now I've experienced them. It's one of the only products that actually shows an uplift in economic hard times because maybe people aren't buying houses and cars, but they're going to buy a piece of jewelry. Okay. And then from a personal standpoint, my standpoint, and I know you agree with me here, Janine, and so will people out there that are putting their comments in, it's really such a feel good product. It's absolutely an amazing connecting type of product where people like, you hear people leaving their jewelry, like who did she leave her jewelry to? You don't hear about people leaving their candles to anybody. I'm sure it's out there, but this is a bigger deal, right? And it's so inexpensive to ship in store. I used to have a whole separate building for my, I'm not kidding, like a garage, a whole separate detached garage for my inventory. Yeah, and it was hard on me to carry that in and out everywhere. And with our jewelry, first of all, 78% of our reps do their whole business online, like I'm doing right now, right from the seat. But when we do choose to take product out to show people, it's like in the size of a purse. So the advantages to representing a jewelry line are really unbelievable. I have doubled, tripled my income here doing the same amount of stories with, I mean, shows with the same amount of customers type of thing and the same team size. So I just see now that if I ever were to have to, if knowing now what I know, I would have gone with jewelry in the first place, is what I was trying to say here. But I have it now.
And I understand that we had a lot of people drop different companies that they were with in direct sales in the chat. Would you like to take a second and talk about the direct hire program?
Yes, absolutely. So, I used to sell steel. My husband was in the steel industry. That's where I met him. And whenever I was transferred someplace, I didn't have to start all over. They recognized what achievements I'd already had. And the direct sales space is it's a specific set of wonderful skills, and we should be recognized for that. So Park Lane believes in that, and they listen to what the experience is, whether it's current or in the past. If you've worked for a direct sales company in the past and you've had a team, you've had accolades, you've had certain things that you've met, we're going to listen to your history, and we are going to bring you in at a profit level, a pay level, and a title that works for you based on what your experience is, because we are happy to pay for your experience when you bring that kind of um, wonderfulness, for lack of a better word, since that's not a word, to Park Lane Jewelry. So both Janine and I were brought in at higher levels here at Park Lane. Again, I'm going off script a little bit here, but one of the things we absolutely detested about our other companies when we experienced it was the fact that every other company has minimums. They have minimums where you have to sell a certain amount or do a certain amount, or you're at very great risk of losing not only your place in the company, but your title, your pay level, everything you worked for. And a lot of times it's not even your fault. It's not, mostly like the people that worked under me. It wasn't their fault sometimes when their team wasn't doing what they needed to do. Like in a world like today where if all these tornadoes, if it was a local team, they can't, all their shows got canceled, of course, right? And rightfully so. So Park Lane recognizes that. They refuse to lead with fear and intimidation. They lead more with promotions, like opportunities to gain certain advantages. And I'll talk about those in just a second, because I think Janine's going to ask me another question. But the fact that they totally took away that angst and anxiety that we used to have every month of meeting minimums, it just, I say this sometimes, Janine, and I try to be really humble, but I go, I was a good leader in my other company, but I'm such a great leader here because I'm not just calling people to see if they're going to put in something.
Because you're not running your business by fear. That's why. The difference is you're not running by fear. If you came from another company and you built a team in another company, you know what minimums and quotas mean. And you know that the anxiety is overwhelmingly awful.
People would feel like they were letting you down, and you'd feel like you were late. All of that. None of that is here. We're not having it. No, you do here what you want to do. If it's nothing, it's nothing. And you are going to keep your title and keep your pay until you're ready to re-engage. So I love that about Park Lane Jewelry.
Yeah. Well, and what you just said is the most powerful piece, because quite honestly, life happens for people.
Yes.
And when life happens, you can step away for a moment. You don't lose anything when you come back into it. And that's, I think that's a powerful
huge.
Thing that we do. Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
So, all right. So now we know all these extra great things, but I love this piece because I ask you why Park Lane, and we could go on for hours, but give us the brief synopsis of why Park Lane's the best.
Given that, now you're just like, you're reducing your options here when you choose jewelry, as did I when I was coming here. And then the no quotas was a huge thing for me. But I did have it down to 2 jewelry companies, but very different jobs. One was going to be for corporate, flattering, lots of travel, but nowhere near the income that you can make here. Did not have the flexibility, but I did consider it. And, in the end, I knew that I had to choose the company that had the better programs, which I'll talk about in a sec. But I also loved that Park Lane was so adaptable to any kind of taste. And when I say this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But almost every other jewelry company that I knew of, they definitely had like a niche market. Which, remember earlier I talked about how jewelry is so wonderful because the market's so huge. So I wanted to keep that market huge. So I didn't want it to be just crystals or just pearls or just silver. I wanted it to have to run the gamut like Park Lane does. So that's a really basic reason. The programs, though, whenever you look at any kind of company, you guys, you want to look at the programs. And we've been around since 1955. We're very secure. We're cash rich and debt free. It's very evident by the fact that we keep adding more and doing more for our customers and our hostesses, and they keep doing more for us. And other companies are going under or doing less. So that has been very telling in the 15 years that I've been here, how solid they are, which I love. But they also have just some amazing programs. And one, it starts with the customer sale. I never knew of another company that had an ongoing customer sale. And our customer sale makes people feel like they're pulling something over on someone, like they just heard a secret, like they're just, like getting the greatest value. Buy 2 for regular, get 4 for half. Every time I get to tell somebody about that, they get absolutely delighted. Their eyes get real big. And then when I go, and your 2 regular price should be your least expensive, they're like, no, they let you do that. It's really cool. And then there's an extra component where when you spend $90, you get any item you want for $35. And some of the items that we have are like 200 something. So imagine someone sees a $200 bracelet and they're thinking, and then you're like, no, because you could get it for 35. Then they're all happy. Okay. So very great for the customers. One of the number one reasons that people want to share any kind of something with their friends and family is they want to share the deal with them. So it makes it very easy for us to get shows because hostesses want to share that customer sale with the customers. And if you think we're good to the customers, wait till you see what we do for the hostesses, where they get like anywhere from $3,000 to $1,000 in free and discounted jewelry. They're absolutely gobsmacked, over the moon, over everything that they get. It's based on number of orders, where I'll give you just a synopsis. I could say to Janine, don't you think between the two of us, we could collect 10 $30 orders?
Sure.
Okay. That's a $300 sale for Park Lane, and for me, quite frankly. Okay. Park Lane's going to give you 40 times 10 in free product. You're going to get $400 worth of free jewelry, and I'm not even done yet. That's 150% hostess credit. It's crazy. So we love it. Now, for the reps, we're the highest paid in the industry. And there's a couple reasons that we're the highest paid. One is that Park Lane knew from the beginning they were going to pay their people more than anybody else did. That was their dream. They're going to do that. That's how they're going to get the best. Okay. That's why we have people from all other companies that come here eventually. And we have hundreds and hundreds of years of experience, which is great for you guys to learn from. But also the customer plan where everybody's so happy with their order and how much they got, we're getting paid on that. So when people say like, oh, I'm going to sell the $5 jewelry, I completely understand the thought process, but really think it through, because how much can you make? And we all are greedy, right? Come on, if we're going to spend time, we want it to be high paying, right? And then they have just additional things to encourage and promote the business. They have 2 trips a year that we can earn. They have a Mercedes car plan. One of the ones that we take so for granted and is huge favorite of people is we can earn up to $1,000 in free jewelry every single month. Yeah. Now, you guys, to you might be like, oh, no, think about it. Right now, you're buying jewelry, right? Imagine that you could earn jewelry for free and do with it whatever you wanted. It could be your Christmas shopping, but it also could help you to maybe get more business by saying, oh, you want that necklace? Do I have a treat for you kind of thing? So it helps us not have to spend our own money on things, which is a big deal if we ever want to like add a little extra. Not that we need to, because their programs are so generous. So I'm sure that I forgot some things, but those are just in a nutshell some of the absolutely best, most attractive things about Park Lane Jewelry. And I have lived them, and it's just been really quite a ride.
You didn't miss a lot. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. Quite honestly, it's overwhelming. But what I do want is, I would love for the gals and guys that are in the chat right now to drop a comment and let me know what you heard that Mary Grace
Yeah.
said that really, really was profound for you. What one thing, as a benefit or whatever, that you've heard thus far that was really profound? I'd like to see, where we're hitting the marks at. I'm
You
going to
guys,
end with asking. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we're kind of brought up that like it's rude to talk about your income and stuff. Like I would never imagine going into your house and saying, "Hey Earl, how much do you make?" to your husband. But I have multiple people in my organization getting paychecks every single week with a comma in them, which means over $1,000.
Yeah.
Like this is not just Mickey Mouse, this is really great stuff with people in all different walks of life being able to work it around their lives and being able to bring in that kind of extraneous income. It's absolutely amazing. Amazing.
I used to think that that was so funny when everybody said you want paychecks with commas, but you do. I mean,
Oh.
that's weekly. Just let that sink in.
And I've had double-digit ones weeks
I
in
know
a
you
row.
have. I know you have. My God. You're looking at the best of the best here, ladies and gentlemen. I am interviewing the best of the best. Okay, so I'm going to ask this last question just because I'm cutting over you. I apologize. I'm going to ask this last question, take a second, and then let them know why now is the perfect time to join Park Lane.
Perfect time to join Park Lane. Goodbye, we're done. No, it's a wonderful time to start Park Lane. We're at a season change. That's always a biggie because people, the first thing they change is their accessories, especially what we were talking about earlier. If they're like, I don't know whether to wear a sweater or a shirt, but I know I'm going to wear a spring colored necklace, it's really fun. We just dropped a new capsule, so you could be one of the first to show the new capsule. And a capsule's like just a little collection. We get capsules regularly, and then we have like 2 major catalogs a year. And our next major catalog will drop quite soon too. We have a deal going on for $129. Is that correct? Why else did that go on that? $129. If they charge us $129 to join and just get our own website and access to their website, and for them to pay our credit card fees, and for all of the cut and paste, basically things that I pay for everybody to do on their Facebook groups and Instagrams and stuff, that would be fair. But for the $129, you get to choose $600 worth of jewelry right now. $600 worth of jewelry for $129. You put the $129 on a credit card, and before the credit card is even due, you will have made that back. Because what you do is you have what we call an intro show, and whoever invited you to the call tonight will do the show for you, but you're the one who will get paid. So it's all for you. And after that, if you decide, maybe not for me, or definitely for me, that's the decision that you make. If you want your rep to keep the paycheck, just don't do it. But I think you're going to want to do it when you see the paycheck. You know what I love about it too? There are people in your life that will say, "Oh, don't do that," and that'll take us back to the first question because they misunderstand what direct sales is. But if you're able to go, okay, so I got all this jewelry, and here's the paycheck that I got, and this is what I got to pick up additionally free because I had the party. Now tell me how they hurt me. That is a wonderful way to get your business started.
Love that. I'm going to invite all of the people that are on tonight to please contact someone to bring on next week. Are we doing Memorial Day? The next time we do it, we should say it that way because we don't know. I'm not going to be available Memorial Day, but you can.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Because of our powers.
We'll figure it out. Okay. So bring them on next week. And let's double the attendance. Thank you very much, Mary Grace. I really appreciate interviewing you every single week.
I appreciate you interviewing me every single week.
And if anyone has any questions, you can definitely go back to your stylist. I did drop the Google questionnaire in the chat. It's also available at the top of the Grace and Grit Studio group page. You want to fill that out, and you want to book a party. Okay, you want to book a party with the stylist that asked you to come and take the free benefits if that's all you want. But you might realize that not only is that jewelry going to be real helpful for you, but that paycheck could be as well. So, bless that person who invited you, book your party, and we will see you next week here at
Yes,
7
we
p.m.
will.
Eastern,
Bye,
6
everybody.
Central. Bye, everybody.